Wrestle me, Peter.
Oh, sorry, Mark. Were you trying to start? Were you trying to start the show? Were you trying to get anything done today? Because I've got a new bit of kit. And that's what I'm going to be doing for the next hour.
I sort of get as well how like baby faces in 1997's WCW must have felt, where it's just that's all you hear all day long. No. Absolutely appalling.
Stuff.
Curt Hennig, Peter, you're taking on Diamond Dallas Page.
Yes, kicking off with some old boy with a tash shouting right down the lens, "Pussy!" Just the word "pussy," right down the lens.
Will not bend to the pressure of this high-impact player, Curt Hennig.
You know, another thing, momentum will overtake sometimes experience. So it can go either way when you think about it.
Oh, man. I mean, we're in the Wild West here now because you also get like DDP's unedited music. Because we can't watch this legally through the network anymore, we're having to go back to the original source tapes. And so what you get is all of the, copyrighted issues that they've worried about. So it's pure again. It's pure, Pete.
Yeah.
And God, it's only a couple of notes removed from Smells Like Teen Spirit, isn't it?
Self-high five.
Sort of mad that they just sort of went, change two notes and they can't sue us. And everyone's looked at it since and just gone, yeah, of course they can. Of course they can. What are you doing?
But then you could say Teen Spirit was pretty much more than a feeling, wasn't it? down,
This long line of people that you're being sued by. I'm going to say they're certainly trying to do the Teen Spirit thing, and I don't understand why they've connected Teen Spirit with DDP. It could not be further.
This lanky, greasy little jazz man.
Yeah,
hello.
He is a crispy old hobo. Okay, there's no getting around it. And with him to sort of,
he is a deep fried homeless man.
Yes. And that thing of going, him going, yeah, I like it because I got Teen Spirit. It's like, what? Look, from 1953.
In a fucking van. In your van, you weirdo.
Is that just because you sleep near the high school? And then, I mean, one of the things that does change your opinion about DDP is he brings out Kimberly Page with him, his wife. And you look at that and you just go,
what's happened there then?
He must be a really nice guy. You do look at it and you do go, okay,
Didn't expect that. I
that's a surprise.
Him to come out with either his mother pushing a shopping trolley.
A doll that he thinks is his social worker. There is a part of it where you go, I wonder if I could have, if I met in like 97, I wonder if I could have gone out with Kimberly Page.
How many episodes have we got to record where you fantasize about going out with somebody?
Do you know what it is?
But you're probably closer to Kimberly Page because of the decision she's clearly made in her past than any of the others.
There was a really odd thing that's always stuck with me because it was so extreme a philosophy. And it was the actress Jessie Wallace, who was Cat Slater in EastEnders.
Yes, yeah.
And she'd been busted in the tabloids, something, I can't remember what it was. And she was going out with like a truck driver and she'd been recorded off her sort of, bonce on, whatever, talking about how she really, really loved horrible, ugly men. And she said the uglier and sort of stupider and like grosser, the better. She was like, and I was like, what a freeing thing in your life. Everyone is like, oh, I like filet mignon, fresh vegetables. And you're like, I like bin juice. And it's just like, the world is your oyster. You'll never be like unhappy because you're always like, the worst thing is the thing I love the most. And
I didn't become a little bit of a slag. I became a total slag.
I think that about Kimberly Page. I think maybe she had that Jessie Wallace thing going on, where she was like, I want the crispiest, most sort of like sun-drenched Dorito man. I want a Dorito that's got a beard. What you should say, of course, is, we do know that Diamond Dallas Page is one of life's great guys.
Yeah.
And, he proves that time and time and time again over the years.
But back then, he did look like a mascot for a hot dog company.
He did. Or if a cat's bum had been given a wish and it had said, I'd like to be not fully a human, about a third cat's bum still, but with a bit of human added in. Do not want Banya to be doing this on YouTube and get one of those like Dutch Mantel did, where he had to watch it back.
See, it started off, I thought it was going to be just a knock job. And they started off by kind of continuing that trend. But toward the end, it's like they completely changed their tune. And all of a sudden, I knew exactly what I was doing, and I was a genius, and I was one of the smartest men in wrestling. I liked the way it ended. I didn't like much care for the way it started, but yeah.
Sorry, DDP, we love you.
No, he's a big-hearted man, and he deserves everything that brings him happiness. He really does.
Because he's at the start of his kind of like best career trajectory ever, isn't he? Sort of starting his ascendancy.
He really is, yeah. 1997. I think, funnily enough, I mean, you can see with what they do with Lex Luger in this, but I think had they not been so fixated on the only angle that matters is Sting coming back as the biggest babyface we've ever had, I think they would have given DDP a proper big push at this time, and he was just unlucky that they were so locked into something big. I mean, amazing that WCW don't try and create baby faces, something they were so bad at this period, and two of them basically bubble up. There's a slight thing about you create strong heels, you get someone to go up against them, you don't humiliate them, those guys will get over, and you can see the two of them getting over. WCW didn't want them to. That's the mad thing.
They sort of grow up like moss in between some flagstones.
This has never happened before. Under any other circumstances, this would be a wonderful thing that's just happened, but we've got to squash it. We've got to squash it because we don't want it.
You talked about the veteran Curt Hennig, and you talked about how great Flair looked. Curt Hennig looks great. Looks in the best shape of his life.
He's in good shape here, Hennig.
He is.
He never, ever recovered from losing that Mr. Perfect gimmick, did he? He knew that was the one. He knew that was the gimmick, and when he lost it, he was just like, I'll go back to my old AWA name, and he must have just been sitting there just going, I miss that gimmick, I really miss it.
Yeah.
He never ever felt like a star in WCW. He always just felt like he wasn't there to win, and when he comes out, it just feels like they're never going to push him. He's never going to be getting beyond the stage he's at the minute, and you've got DDP opposite him, and everything's clicking for him now, as you said, Pete, after years of him struggling to get there, with everyone saying you'd never make it, you're too old, you just don't have it for this business. The two of them, one clearly on the way down, one clearly on the way up. Yeah. Only WCW would go, well, let's have the bloke on the way down win clean, and the guy on the way up, we'll have him lose.
Yeah. I know that Mr. Perfect is the very image of a man who big sells, who loves selling big. But I mean, being punched in the face and then doing like a bicycle kick, flipping himself upside down. I've seen one where he's fighting Kerry Von Erich, and Kerry Von Erich punches him in the face, and he does like a leaping sort of corkscrew spin, and sort of plants himself in the floor. And he's almost getting to those kind of levels in this one. It's really weird.
Do you know what? It's a really funny one, because he was certainly at his peak in the early 90s. He was so small compared to most of the big stars, your Hulk Hogan's, and who he was, often having house show matches against. There, his selling seemed to make sense. He never really adjusted it. And so when he goes with people who are smaller, he's still doing the great big, I get hit and I really, really spin around. And I think it's quite funny that everyone's like, he is one of the great sellers, and he is, but he sometimes needed to tone it down a bit for legitimacy's sake. And actually, what you get is a thing where you just go, he's slightly making this look ridiculous. Very famous SummerSlam match that Shawn Michaels had with Hulk Hogan, when Hulk Hogan returned to the WWE in the early 2000s. Hogan went over, and Shawn Michaels just decided he would oversell the whole match as a way of effectively going, this is stupid, wrestling is nonsense, and I'm a baby. And he oversold, and it's seen as being one of the sort of great unprofessional moments really in matches. It is in embarrassing to watch. And there is a sort of note of going, Hennig's certainly in the midpoint of some of that. I don't think he is doing it to humiliate his opponent, but he is doing it effectively to sort of, get a reaction by using his own body, which is what he should be doing. But sometimes it just feels a little bit big. Like, he slightly applaud me rather than my opponent. I don't know. It's a really unpopular decision to do, criticising Mr. Perfect selling. But I did find it in this, he was a bit hammy. Bit hammy.
It was a little bit hammy. But I mean, it was all just, was Mr. Perfect part of the... was he not? Like, the referee gets knocked out, so of course Ric Flair has to turn up because he respects the rule of law, not the licensing laws.
No,
because he will frequently bend them at the end of the night in a hotel bar. But the rule of law he respects.
I mean, again, having Hennig win with Flair's sort of getting in the way, it doesn't do any good for DDP. It doesn't really do any good for Hennig because he couldn't beat DDP without all this nonsense. And this whole is Hennig in the is he not? No one cares. It just that storyline was done so frequently and so boringly, and I don't think anyone ever cared once you got past the original, who is the third man in NWO.
Curt Hennig defeats Diamond Dallas Page.
I'm going to tell you what, with a distraction, if you will, from the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, we've seen it unfold right here in front of us. Now, does that mean he's a horseman? Why was Flair out to help him? Somebody answer this for me.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's a cut after this to Sturgis, downtown Sturgis. We get a lot of them. And there's a man on a bike. He's got big sunglasses and he's wearing a T-shirt with Charles Manson's face on it.
Good stuff, yes.
Charles Manson is annoyingly co-opted into, outlaw society, isn't he? He seemed like such an horrible and ill man. It's sort of like in 30 years, loads of people just on bikes wearing Russell Brand T-shirts. It's sort of, I don't know. He's just weird. What's the T-shirt saying? Do you want him out? Do you want him to come and live with you? I don't normally, I'll wear a Kevin Nash T-shirt, right? And I'm wearing that because I sort of go, if you knew who Kevin Nash was and had a chat and you went, oh, Kevin Nash, I go, you know who Kevin Nash is. Don't want people to know Charles Manson coming up to me, Let's see, you got Charles Manson on you. Yeah, oh God. But also, I do wear it in case someone said, well, would you like Kevin Nash to come and live with you? I go, yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would actually, yeah.
Really
and so
would.
My partner. Yeah, really would. I think we'd get on. I mean, the house would stink of fucking weed, but it would absolutely honk.
Yeah. Oh, why does my partner smell of weed? Like, more than the rest of the house? Kevin.
Kevin.
Oh, gorgeous Kevin. The next little bit, we see Ring Gene's hotline. Mean Gene does a little promo for his pay number. He says, find out who Raven's first opponent will be. Although they sort of couch it in language that they sort of suggest you might not find out who it is.
Yes.
Which it was very famous for being a big come on that. They would say, a big former WCW star, we've just heard they've died. And if you rang up, they'd basically go, there's a guy who did 2 matches in 1988 who you'd never heard of, and they'd report it like that. It was a very much a con, the old WCW hotline. And then they have a little advert for WCW Fall Brawl, the upcoming pay-per-view. And again,
oh my God,
stupid WCW. They've got at the moment, they've got 150 wrestlers on their books. And for some reason, they go, let's get people who aren't part of this company, random enhancement talent, and we'll get them to shout like they're wrestlers. And so they don't even get their own stars. They paid more money than the people who are under contract that you would see on the night to do the advert. Just all the seeds of failure you can see beginning to spring up.
And then right after, there's a little sort of Eric Bischoff, very New World Order heavy advert for the pay-per-view you're watching now, I think. And it's the most confusing bit of footage I've ever seen in my life. Even for WCW, it is demented.
Luger, you were going to pay. You're going to pay a very, very dear price. Count on it.
Then turns out to be surprisingly good, the WCW Tag Team Champions of Hall and Nash taking on the Steiners.
But it sounds very much like, according to Ted DiBiase's kind of review of this pay-per-view, and he was very much like, at this point, I'd rediscovered Baby Jesus, my words, not his.
Yep.
And I couldn't have given less of a shit about any of this bollocks. WCW, we were at a point where the Nash and Hall had just taken over.
Yeah.
Everyone had just sort of decided to book themselves, and it was just a bit of a mess, really. And I kind of wanted to go, and I think that's why he refused to get on a motorbike.
Interesting. I mean, what you can see here is you do get that first bit where Kevin Nash began to sell the idea that looking like he was not bothered about this was a character note. And what a clever, sneaky thing to do, where you just go, my character just does not want to come to work. And he really does that. You notice that Scott Hall is delighted to be there. He's doing all of his arms are moving, and he's doing his eyebrows are raising, and he's doing his hand moves. And Nash just sort of sits there going...
When he raised his leg straight into someone's neck and I was like, whoa, I've not seen him do that for a little while.
He likes that, doesn't he? And a surprisingly civil crowd throughout this as well. And the camera shoots a lady she's got like soot all over her chest, and she's sort of written NWO into the soot. And as they move away, a guy leans forward and gives the finger to the camera, and they're like, right, get the camera away. And as it swings around, they get to an older woman, and she looks at the camera and then lifts her top up to reveal her bra. And it's just, I love the whole thing about move it. No.
You go,
absolute nightmare. The Steiners have got, Ted DiBiase could not look more out of place. You say he's not going to get on a motorbike. He's wearing a suit, but he's got a button-up Nehru shirt on as well. Terrible, terrible look. And the Steiners look so different from him that you're just like, oh, I don't know what this is. This is a mess.
Well, he's sort of coming down the ramp and he's waiting for the Steiners to come out on their motorbikes. They don't know how to use them.
No.
They've never been on a bike before.
They say they have. They say they drove down from Detroit, and there is footage of them.
They were so slow coming out.
They were slow. They're wearing their red pleather outfits. I mean,
the red pleather is very plur in it rather than ether.
Yeah.
Oh, it's shiny. It's almost fetish.
Imagine having to wrestle in that. Imagine having to like lean into someone and the inside of it touching your body. Absolutely horrible. Scott Steiner is beginning to look absolutely fucking mad here as well. He's angry. He's dressed inappropriately. His body's gone weirdly big and much too muscular. And you're beginning to sort of go, this guy looks like something else. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But a big change has happened, and you can begin to see the birth of Big Papa Pump. Is like an alien. It's just waiting to burst out of his chest. Absolutely bizarre. Even though this is in front of the wrong crowd, this was a really, really decent match. You know, everyone working properly. They're all doing good moves, and they're telling a story. At one point, Tony Schiavone says, "This is why wrestling is the most popular sport in the world," and it's not. You just can't just lie. You can't. It's just silly. People question it.
Yeah,
you know?
It's especially because like later on you'll be saying that Sting.
Yeah.
That's not Sting. It's just like, just stop lying to us.
Yeah, it's not going to be Sting. Scott does a load of the selling as well, which is odd considering he's so frightening. But there's lots of good teasing of the hot tag, and there's really fun comebacks and things like that. And the Steiners get the top rope bulldog, and Nash just pulls the referee Nick Patrick out. And he awards the match to the Steiners. It's a DQ. Ted DiBiase grabs the tag team belts and they hold them up and they're all excited. And then the referee pulls them down. The crowd boo. The crowd begin chanting bullshit. That is something you could only do in front of a crowd who didn't really watch wrestling. Because you do that in front of a crowd, you just go, why is fucking DiBiase holding the belts up? It's obvious what's happened. They've been disqualified. You know, Ted, you know how this works. You know that belts don't change hand in disqualification. But in front of a load of people who are like children, effectively, because they don't understand, you know, the ins and outs of wrestling, they did have him pull them up and go, yeah, we won. And they went, no, you didn't. And then everyone went, oh, man. Oh, man.
It was okay. It was fine. It was good, but it was actually a pretty good video. To tell you the truth,